I do have my superintendent's report for this evening, and want to begin by highlighting that this is Attendance Awareness Month, and we know that school attendance is important every single month. There's no exception to that. But nationally, we always recognize September as Attendance Awareness Month, and our mantra, our motto is attend today, achieve tomorrow, and we want to continue to push that for all of our scholars. You've also heard us say strive for 5, and that's just the notion that, yeah, you may not have perfect attendance, but let's strive to not miss more than 5 days as we're moving through the school year. So attend school, attend today, achieve tomorrow. That's our mantra. This is also Hispanic Heritage Month, beginning on September 15th through October 15th. Yeah, and I tweeted, it's not just a month, we need to celebrate, right? And so continue to check out our social media, and I'm really excited about the celebrations that many of our schools and our whole community will be having in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. It's also National Suicide Prevention Month, and we know that life is not always easy. And, we talk a lot about mental health and the idea of trying to normalize talking about mental health. So just wanted to make sure that we do highlight National Suicide Prevention Month. 988 is the Suicide and Crisis Hotline. And, if any of our listeners, viewers, or team members and families need support, please get the support that you need. And again, that's not something that's exclusive to this month, but you can call or text or chat via that 988 number if you're in need of support. Want to also highlight the NOLA PS Wellness Team. Our team name is actually the NOLA PS Wellness Warriors, in case anybody is wondering. We did rock the Saints Game Day 5K a couple of weeks ago. Had a lot of fun. It was actually one of the most fun races I've done in a very long time because it ends on the 50-yard line of the Superdome. So that was a lot of fun. So some pictures there. And we'll have more opportunities for the community to engage with us. Wellness is extremely important as it relates to both physical and mental health. And speaking of mental health, want to highlight the Travis Hill National Recognition that they've received. And many of you were engaged with us during the Aspen Challenge in the spring. And Travis Hill won, y'all, which is incredible for any school. But when you think about the scholars that Travis Hill serves, you're talking about some young people who've been through some things, right? And for them to be able to produce this, and they called it the Voices Behind the Walls, which I just think is so profound. I'm not going to show the video, but please check out our social media because the video from CBS Saturday Morning News is so amazing, and it just really gives your heart joy to a great extent, but also lets you know the work that we have to do to make sure that our scholars feel seen and feel loved, regardless of their circumstances. And as Brian Stevenson says, we are all more than the worst thing we've ever done, and we have to really embrace that when it comes to our scholars. And I'm just really proud of Travis Hill and their students for putting forth the effort to compete in the Aspen Challenge, and then again doing it at such a level that they were actually winners for that. So congratulations to them. Also want to lift up our teachers. You've heard me say that this is the year of the teacher. I said it, and I mean it, and really excited about celebrating our teachers. Our first convening of the Joyful Educator Collaborative will be next Tuesday. Thank you to Junior Achievement for hosting us. Really glad to be able to celebrate our educators and give them a fun time. And if any of our partners are interested in supporting that, then by all means, please reach out to us. For any of our teachers, if you've not registered yet, please RSVP by the 22nd, and it is at nolapublicschools.com to register so that we can make sure we have an accurate head count, and definitely would love to have our board members and other stakeholders and supporters come out and thank a teacher. Let them know how much we appreciate them. There's always the teacher appreciation weeks and other days throughout the year, but our teachers are working hard and giving their heart each and every day. So we want to show them how much that means to us and let them know that they are valued. Now, for my big drum roll, please type item is really excited to be able to share NOLA PS Evolve. And you all know that early in my tenure, formed a transition team, and I want to thank Kay Allen Consulting, and she's here with us today, and her team for the work that they've done in terms of supporting NOLA PS Evolve, what has become NOLA PS Evolve. Initially, we were simply seeking to reimagine our strategic plan. And so I want to just kind of break down what NOLA PS Evolve is. Basically, it's an evolution of the strategic plan. And we concluded our last community meeting last week. It did give community an opportunity to see what this plan looks like and what the evolution actually means as we move from the 2021 plan to this current plan. And it aims to provide a comprehensive approach to improving outcomes for our students, staff, families, community, and overall the functioning of our school district. Also, it articulates the educational and system level experiences that our children deserve. And then finally, it's designed to adapt to the evolving needs of students, staffs, family, and community. I'm a firm believer that a strategic plan is a living, breathing document. You can see our guiding principles are equity, achievement, transparency, efficiency, and transformation. And then our theory of change is grounded in vision and outcomes, having key performance indicators, as well as solid strategies to ensure that the goals can be reached. And we also identify priorities so that we can name what our commitments are. And then, of course, mission, guiding principles, and core beliefs are all part of NOLA PS Evolve. And you can see our core beliefs here, and this entire, the PowerPoint will be posted, of course, as well as the entire document so that you can see and study if you choose. I don't know if strategic plans can be my bedside reading. I'm just that much of a geek, and you may not be, but I do encourage you to read our strategic plan. As we look at the core work, we want to just kind of break down where this work lands, and there are a number of areas that are lifted up here, from school support, crisis communication, diverse learner and district services support, student enrollment, portfolio innovation and accountability, fiscal management, policy provisions and implementation, school building learning, LEA services, data collection, and system-wide programming. That captures basically our core work as a district. And just want to touch briefly on what we actually mean by reimagining our path. So beginning with the 2021 strategic plan that was approved during that year, and knowing that there was a significant amount of engagement that went into that, we wanted to make sure that we maintained certain areas of focus from that plan, while at the same time expanding it to include more student voice, to ensure that we were honing in on our early learners and diverse learners, and looking at our long-term organizational planning as well as literacy. And then enhancing the structure of it by making sure that we had language that was aligned with a strategic plan of action rather than just a strategic plan. And also, as we move forward, we'll be elevating the actions and outcomes from that previous plan, and doing so through an implementation plan that includes a timeline. And so when you think about the plan, we're looking at this through the lens of 4 commitments, and those 4 commitments are effective and connected communications, high-quality schools, student, staff, and community well-being, and operational excellence. And for each of those commitments, we've got a number of goals that we're looking at, and of course those are detailed or outlined in detail in the strategic plan. So I'm not going to go through each of them now. But you can go to the next couple of slides, Mrs. Brown. Go to commitment 1, the desired outcomes. Yeah. And so for each one, we've got desired outcomes. These are the goals for each of the commitments. Just for example, when we think about the communication piece, we want the public to be more aware of what our performances are like, our strengths as well as our challenges, and for families to have the information that they need to make informed decisions for their families. When we think about high-quality schools, if you go to commitment 2, We want to ensure that we have a portfolio of schools that's rich, including diversity of high-quality schools. Mr. Simmons is, of course, leading our work around our portfolio work, but the Portrait of a Graduate squarely fits with high-quality schools, as we use that as our North Star to ensure that the student experience is also high quality. For student, staff, and community well-being, commitment 3, we want to ensure that we are again being transparent and using evidence-based approaches to our work, and that we're regularly vetting in a transparent way the effectiveness of the work that we're doing. And for this one, we've talked a lot about mental health, but we want to make sure that we're meeting the holistic needs of our students and staff. As Portrait of a Graduate fits with high-quality schools, it also fits with this, because we're talking about the whole child, and we're also talking about the whole educator as it relates to how we're engaging with our teachers and staff. And then the final commitment is around operational excellence, and some of our commitments and desired outcomes for there is around our operational pieces with our own central office, our efficiency, having staff succession planning in place, and also ensuring that we're equitably distributing our resources to our schools, which includes funds as well as facilities. And so those are the 4 commitments within the strategic plan. And I mentioned before that implementation is key, and so is monitoring and reporting. And so our monitoring and reporting is outlined on this next slide, where we're looking at the reports that will be made, as well as what the public can expect on an annual basis as we review the strategic plan and ensure that it remains a living, breathing document as it relates to the work that we're doing. And this includes every 18 months having the goals reviewed in a very comprehensive way and revised as needed. Times change, which can ultimately change the approach, the focus, and even the intent of some of our goals and strategies. And so we will be real clear about that. During July of this year, I did a State of the Schools address. Moving forward, the State of the Schools address will be aligned with updates to our strategic plan and reporting on the progress that we're making with our strategic plan. So looking forward to that being done on a regular basis. And I'm going to pause right there. And this item is something that will be added to our Thursday board meeting, where I'll be seeking board approval for the strategic plan with the goal of implementation beginning in October of this year. So I'm going to pause there before I move to my next item to see if there are any questions or comments.
Board members, question on our strategic plan of action here? I think I'll just add, Dr. Williams, I certainly appreciate the content that is in this plan, but I think as a board member, it's helpful for me to the kind of the metrics that you're including will help us to hold you and your team accountable to the commitments that will move our district forward. I really appreciate the monitoring and reporting schedule, and we'll look forward to those regular updates on this. It's a great way to hold ourselves accountable. I think it's very easy for a district to have a plan on a shelf, and this is certainly not that. So thank you.
I appreciate you using that language, because that's exactly what we don't want it to be. You're right, absolutely. And again, shout out to our transition team, and any transition team members out there. I see a few of our transition team members. So thank you for your work. This was a year-long process to get to the point where we're ready to move forward. And the work continues because, again, it's a living, breathing document. So that said, it's time for our mental minute. And for our mental minute, I want to really demonstrate how connected the work is that we do. I see people sitting up, rolling shoulders back already. But for our mental minute, I'm actually going to go to healthy humans in our Portrait of a Graduate. And so Board Member Baldwin mentioned using these questions with her children at home. Well, guys, these questions can be for anyone. And I do think it's important that we understand what it means to be a healthy human. And so for our mental minute, I want you to reflect on a couple of questions. And I'm getting these from our guidebook under Healthy Humans. So think about this. What healthy boundaries are you creating for yourself? Reflect on that question for just a moment. And then, how are you bringing positive energy to the people around you. And those are just a few reflections. You know, when we think about taking a mental minute, it doesn't have to always be something where you're moving or doing, reflecting, journal writing. And as we move through the course of this year, you'll see that our guidebook, or our toolbox rather, for our mental minute will continually be updated with some other tips that you can use. So, you know, think about setting those boundaries and how you're bringing joy to those around you. And that's our mental minute. And as I wrap up, I do want to just say, time to renew our school facilities preservation millage on October 14th. And we've got lots of educational information that's been pushed out. You'll see PSAs and, you know, other information on our socials, just as reminders of that October 14th date. And with that said, those are the end of my remarks, and I'll take any other questions that you all may have.